get to the start. Come on, let's go. Here we go, up to it. Down to it. Fuck no. And don't do it. Undo it. Like we used to it. Run, fuck up, run.
Hello and welcome into LALV 25 episode 1 covering Solo Day 1. Now the Speed Project's LALV Solo mission officially launched this morning, running from Santa Monica to Las Vegas. A record 41 athletes are running this year's LALV Solo mission. It is a mix of folks from countries across Europe, across Asia, across the United States, across Central and Latin America, and we are so excited that we've had this many athletes come and accept this challenge. In addition, and we'll talk more about this later, this year was the launch of the Radical Equity Program, or as we call it, REP, for the solo mission athletes. It's a program that is designed to extend access, representation across the solo mission field, helping bring people into this experience who otherwise may not have the access to do so. So when we talk about solo athletes, you may hear a little bit about REP as we go along. But that said, in this episode, we'll hear from many athletes. We've had one of our hosts, Jen, along with Nella and Tom, out with the solo mission athletes all day long as they move their way from Los Angeles into the desert. So we'll get a sense of what they went through today. In addition, we're going to hear from an OG solo athlete, Malcolm Ebanks. He's run LALV 3 times, in addition to a handful of other TSP experiences. And Malcolm was actually, along with our friend Tilly, the engineers of the REP program. We'll hear from him about what it takes to run the LALV solo mission, as well as the origin story of the REP program. But that said, as I mentioned before, we do have 41 solo runners running this year. We looked at the map a little bit just to give you a sense of how the day is unfolded. Of the 41 runners, we have 12 running the OG route. So that's the initial route that the Speed Project's OG team ran from LA to Vegas through Death Valley. We have 12 runners right now that it looks like are on that route, at least to start. The other 27 have taken a different route, are going eastbound directly across North Los Angeles towards San Bernardino. So that's how that split is. Those 27 are shaving a little bit of mileage as they go along. And then 2 runners, Anya and James, we are working on locating. So we're trying to find Anya and James. If you have seen Anya or James, please let us know in the comments. From those 2 batches in the OG route, it looks like Manuel is ahead and at the front of that pack of 12 people taking the OG route. And Parley, who you may know from TSP Atacama, who won previous year's TSP Atacama, has a significant lead following that other route of those other 27 athletes. And Holly from the UK is just behind Parley. So we'll keep an eye on that as it goes along. So for leaderboard updates, make sure that you follow our Instagram updates and stories. And of course, every time we go live, we'll be telling you exactly what happened with the leaderboard. That said, since the solo mission did start today, we're going to be talking about a lot of these folks all week long, and we wanted to make sure that you had a chance to get to know all of these incredible athletes who have committed to running somewhere between 280 and 340 miles all the way to Las Vegas. We were just talking about it before. Some of them deciding that they are going to rest as little as possible and stay in motion as much as they can to get to Vegas as soon as possible. So we had the chance yesterday to sit down with every single solo athlete to talk to them about why they are running the solo mission this year. And here's what a few of them had to say.
Why I'm running TSP solo, self-supported, because I dig running.
Because I want to share the experience with a bunch of really powerful women, and so I've got a group of 4 other women, 5 of us total, who are going to run from LA to Vegas as a team. We'll all cover the full distance. We'll share a crew, we'll share the experience, the ups and downs, and I can't wait to have that sort of community.
Yes, so I'm running TSP solo because it's my only option. It's something that I love to do. I say it my only option as a joke, but it is something that I really do love to do, and it's, you know, a community that I am happily a part of, and solo has always been one of the first opportunities to come across the table, and yeah, I'm here again for it.
Honestly, to inspire others that are struggling with anxiety and depression and other mental health illness, just like myself.
To set new limits on my mind and on my body.
See where my feet get me, my mind gets me, and my team and how I work with them gets me. So
I believe my purpose in life is to inspire others.
It's really, really important for women of color to come into these spaces and just to be an inspiration to other women of color and let them know that we can do really hard things.
Porque me gustan los retos y quiero saber cuál es mi límite y hasta dónde puedo llegar.
And I am running TSP because I thought it would be fun.
I don't know why I do it. I just like to do it.
Times when people asked about it, that I had to ask what was the real reason, and I've said no so fast to so many things in my life that led to a bunch of crazy, wild mistakes. And so now I said yes to life and yes to this crazy thing, and see what happens when we come out of it.
Why not? I think it's a really incredible opportunity to just be out there and push your limits.
I'm running TSP solo because I believe that I can't do it, so I want to prove to myself that I can do it.
I just want to go do something hard, and I want to meet new people and do a bunch of cool things in the process. I think it's a challenge that is something like I've never thought of doing before, and I think I'll learn a lot from it.
I'm running TSP because Black women deserve to be at the starting line each and every time.
Just inspire people out there to just go for it and try new things and be bold.
Last year at the pool party, Rob Perez came up to our group and asked as a joke, which one of you is going to run this next year? My whole team pointed at me, and I immediately knew there was something left to find out next year.
It's a great question. I'm here to eat pizza in the desert. Yeah, this is my main objective.
And ultra running is something that I fell in love with when I lost my sister, Clarissa. And so continuing that journey and kind of delving deeper into what's important to me, and my parents will be along, my mom's for the journey.
I'm running for my family's foundation, 14
just have fun.
It's an honor of my brother
last year, had a great time,
challenges
hanging out with my friends, and like, why not?
It hopes that I could inspire somebody to, whenever they want to get their journey running, even if it's a mile.
I want to show that I can do hard things, and it's just going to be such a great adventure, and I just want to see how far I can push my body.
I am aiming to be the first type 1 diabetic to run TSP solo, and I want to prove that if a ginger northern boy can run 500k from LA to Vegas, I hope to remove the fear and encourage other people to get out and move.
In order to secure as many miles I do a week for others, these miles this week are for myself.
En realidad todavía no tengo una respuesta por la cual estoy aquí, pero sí tengo muchas dudas, muchos miedos. Tengo la certeza de que no siempre se debe de tener una respuesta a estas preguntas.
The reason why I'm doing TSP is to break body barriers and for women to be seen and heard. I feel like we are always not seen and not heard.
Because my friend bamboozled me really into expanding past my limitations, and it started as a joint mission and became my own thing, and a way for me to actually put the old me beside myself and grow.
I am running TSP solo as a life achievement and to show my daughters that women have strength and endurance. And I know you're watching. This one's for you guys.
I'm also doing it to, be that cool dad for my teenage kids, show them that the old man still has a little kick.
Like, I can do this, I can do more, and I have like a 10-year-old niece now. And I was only 21 when she was born, so like even I didn't know what I was doing, but like I want to show her like you can do anything. Like you could literally go to the moon if you wanted to. And like maybe this is just a stepping stone for her, and who knows what comes after this.
It's a family vacation for us, literally.
I believe in doing hard things and kind of pushing your body to the limit and seeing where that is. And 300 miles sounded nice, so I ended up doing that.
It's an opportunity to grow and also experience life in such an enriching way and really fun way as well.
7, 6, 5, 4,
That said, we mentioned earlier that the solo runners left from Santa Monica this morning, running to Las Vegas. In day one, what we heard was the elements were pretty extreme, high temperatures, a lot of heat, a lot of sun, a lot of that desert energy that the teams had to deal with, the teams of the solo runners had to deal with as they moved their way from LA out into the desert. And I just want to mention that we've got so many folks from across the world who are running this race and running it for different reasons and in different ways. You learned about Lucy and Team Solo. That's 5 women who are all running together, each solo, but running as a group from LA to Vegas to support one another and invite each other into this experience. We've got other folks who have only run relay before, other folks who had a friend challenge them to run solo together, and then the friend backed out. We've got people from all over the world, all kinds of different stories that are coming together. So Nella and Jen and Tom were out today following some of those teams. They were able to sit down, get a sense of what their first day was like, and also just what is the first day of the solo mission like with all that energy coming out of Santa Monica. Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, just keeping the body moving. Yeah. But I think even if I was to stop and talk, I like really just taking everything in. As a native New Yorker, we're always on the move or not really sitting in moments.
Y'all even eat pizza while you're walking.
Yeah.
So where are you hoping to end up at the end of the day?
By the end of the day, I'm hoping 88 miles in, I'll be somewhere near the tippity top of Cali.
Tippity top of Cali! Yeah. He's going all the way. Tahoe, look out. Side of the map, we have all these runners that shot through the valley, and they're going to be going through Santa Clarita, which is another kind of mountainy area. They'll go through Agua Dulce, which is a kind of like western shooting area, like movies. Are you doing OG or Powerline?
Powerline, yeah.
Oh, damn.
What's your from Baker?
What's your water plan?
Water plan? I have 4 liters with me. I think it's enough.
And our crew is awesome. They've been really taking care of us, making sure that we're hydrated, and we love them. And then the other 3 Team Solo runners are just ahead of us, maybe a couple miles. So we're all close together, and it's
so
really fun.
good. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Where are you planning on ending today?
Rancho Cucamonga, 60 miles is where we're going. So we got a ways to go, but we're trekking. We're doing it. We're doing it.
We talked about this a little yesterday, but like, what are you hoping to get out of this experience?
So, yeah, I was so nervous yesterday, but I think the biggest goal for me, life is so busy, and I try to find more serenity, just like within me, my life, yeah, like with my friends, like to cherish the moments, and yeah.
That's beautiful. That's what it's all about right here. That we're in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, freaking hot, and we're still thinking about life being beautiful.
It's fucking beautiful.
We've talked to so many great runners today. They're hitting really big miles. We're out in Palmdale and about to wrap it up for the day. Who knows what tomorrow beholds? Because as in the words of our sweet German friend, life is fucking beautiful, and you never know what you're gonna get.
So I am here with Malcolm Ebanks from the Bronx, from New York City, legendary runner, prolific TSP runner. We've known Malcolm for 4 years now, and he's participated in a number of events. Malcolm, it's so wonderful to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. So Malcolm, you have we met you during TSP DIY in 2021. Then I believe you've run LALV 3 consecutive times as a solo athlete.
Yes.
You went down to Chile, ran Atacama.
Yes.
relay.
You went to the south of France, ran Chamonix.
As relay.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you came into knowing about the Speed Project and why you decided to start as a solo athlete and log so many miles?
Because you asked me. I think it was.
It's true.
I think it was New York City Marathon. And after DIY, I ran like 89 miles. I think that piqued someone's interest.
89 miles in less than 30 hours?
Yes.
Yep.
First time ever doing that.
Yep.
I am not an ultra runner. Don't see myself as an ultra runner. But the challenge was good. And you partnered with like just Zappo and Adidas at the hub. I couldn't find a relay team for DIY. There was a solo option. I just did that. I thought I was going to run like 40 miles, and I did that by maybe 12 p.m. And Zappo was like, I think you got more miles in you. And so it was on. And so I ran, and then I went home, took a shower, and then I ran back. So I remember I was on 125th Street, and I was running back and forth on the train platform waiting for the train to come.
Yeah.
Because now it was
logging every little bit.
It was like,
yeah.
I need to get the miles in.
Yep.
Yeah, so
yeah.
That's how I first heard about TSP. I didn't have Instagram, so I wasn't like privy to that. And then I think we were at a function, and I met you and Nils, and you were like, "You're Malcolm. We want you to run TSP." I thought you were like joking.
We never joke. We're always serious,
I understand, because
as
by
you
the
can
time I
tell.
got home, I got the invite.
Yeah.
And me being a New Yorker, I was like, "You're not going to play me. I'm going to say yes to this."
Yeah. So you're from New York City.
Yes.
You're at the BX. You're at Bronx pretty hard.
Yes. The only way to do it.
The only way to do it. So I think this is interesting. You're talking about being an urban runner versus an ultra runner, but you know how to log miles. Is there a crew from the Bronx that may feel the same way as you? I know you've brought a lot of folks into running this year's LALV Solo.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that community in the Bronx is and how you brought them into TSP?
Well, I think one, and the Bronx is the most unhealthiest county in New York. So there is the push to become more healthy. But again, everyone that I think who's doing it this time around might not see themselves as a ultra runner, but they're going to take on this challenge.
Right.
And we don't shy away from challenges.
Sure. We lean into them as far as I
We
can observe.
We wreck them.
Wreck them, yeah. So you alluded to some of the runners who were part of the solo race this year. My understanding is that a lot of them are also part of this initiative that the TSP has been happy to launch in partnership with you and Tilly, the Radical Equity Program, which we're referring to as REP, which actually, I'll let you explain it if you wouldn't mind.
Well, REP is now, in my mind, like an incubator of just how, because inherently there are challenges and barriers to doing TSP. And I experienced that the first time I did it.
Can you talk about that,
Well,
those
like,
challenges?
Getting to the start line is definitely a win. Money. It can cost you over like $9,000 if you want to like bring people with you and you're from New York.
Right.
Support. Some people might just want to like not support you, don't believe in you. And I think for REP, there were definitely women who were laughed at for having this idea of wanting to do this thing, and you should not be doing it. Why would you want to do that? And we're not going to support you. And so, unlike a man, sometimes men can gain support from that, right? But as a woman, sometimes women are not supposed to be doing these type of things. So I think REP leaned into that and like worked on, like for example, Team Solo came out of that idea of like, if you don't have resources, if you don't have a crew, why not pull all your effort together, create Team Solo, and now we have like 3 or 4 women that are running individually, but running as a team to Vegas.
Right. And Team Solo that you're referring to is anchored by Lucy, who's run LALV, Lucy from New Orleans, a couple years, and she invited 4 other women in, and the 5 of them are all running solo, but they're running together, sort of station to station.
Sharing vehicles, sharing resources.
Right. So REP was to share resources, share access to getting people in, but...
And just knocking down the barriers, because oftentimes that's why people don't say yes to this.
Right.
They imagine their life as it is, and then there's this invitation, how am I even going to do this?
Right.
But if people now say, hey, let's talk about how we can do this.
Right.
I think at the essence, that's what REP is. Let's just talk about it, negotiate it. Probably not problem solve it, but like, because it's yours to solve. but like at least talk about it. And oftentimes when people are listened to, they can solve.
Right. So there's an access piece to it, but there's also, my understanding is a representation piece, because
I think it's beyond that.
Okay.
It's equity.
Yeah.
And what that means is meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
So if you need something that could be different from what I need,
Mhm.
and through listening to you when you're what you want, let's see if we can like meet that need.
Yeah.
So I think I think representation, access is a byproduct of that, but the main goal of REP was equity across the board.
Love that. Love that. You mentioned that there are multiple athletes from the Bronx
Oh, yes.
running solo as part of this. Do you want to shout them out? Tell us anything about them?
Do I want to shout them out? I want to shout out every solo runner.
Yeah.
Because it's just a feat in itself. But yes, from the Bronx, yes, from Detroit, from Compton.
Yeah.
And again, that's this idea of urban runners. These
Yeah.
are people who are like, what?
Yeah.
But we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, to me, this year is like the gift. There's people coming from places that we wouldn't imagine
Yeah.
that you would want to do this.
Yeah. You talking about that limited scope of imagination. I think one thing that I have been thankful to observe is that the community of folks who are drawn to TSP and are participating, but not just participating, but shifting the way that LALV looks, operates, all the tentacles that it has. The participants and the contributors shape exactly what our experience is year to year. And as that happens, and as we just try to hold a container for people to come in and bring their thoughts, their initiatives, like how can we be better? That to me has shown that there are assumptions made about who should be participating in any
Yes.
given experience.
Right.
And I'm thankful that you very much and Tilly and all these other folks each year, I think, push us to try to spread that net as wide as we can, to bring people in. And you mentioning these different communities, it's like, of course, like running and movement is central to folks from these areas. People don't think of it in that same way. So I'm thankful that now like that imagination is expanded thanks to a lot of your work and voice.
I think Nils and Tilly have been talking about this idea of like radical participation.
Yeah, yeah.
The idea is it's space and people working together to shape each other.
Yeah.
And so I think oftentimes people don't think they belong, but also sometimes people are too passive and just accept space and don't try to change it or define it. And I think that's one thing Rep also did, was like drive down like you belong.
Yeah.
You know, if you said yes to this application, then this space is yours.
Yeah.
You can take this space, you can own it, and you can run these mountains and run these miles.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Before we go, I gotta ask, you've participated in 7 different speed project experiences, I believe,
maybe.
right? Maybe more, something.
No, maybe
yeah. I think so, because 3 LALV DIY, 4, 6,
Yes.
and then obviously you're helping organize some things with us this year. So of those 6 that you've run, any big moments stand out for you from those that was a defining speed project experience or something that really sticks with you?
I think when I crewed Will,
Cool.
I think for me the most rewarding
Yeah.
TSP for me.
Can you talk about that?
Well, Will crewed me twice,
Uh-huh.
so I owed him credit,
Yeah.
and I had to pay the credit back.
Yeah.
And he took on the challenge of doing the hardest TSP that I've experienced.
Yeah.
And he said he would not do it without me, and so I had to do it. And while we were doing it, we were alone often, and we weren't talking, but you could see that we were bonding.
Yeah.
And other runners saw it too.
Yeah.
And so for me, helping Will fulfill that for himself, I think was the biggest
Wow.
thing for me.
Love that. Love that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you always for giving so much of yourself to TSP and, like I said, continuing to shape the way that we show up and how we operate. So appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in for a little bit. Again, this has been a conversation with Malcolm Ebanks. Appreciate all that Malcolm's done. And if you haven't already, check out the details on the REP program. We're so proud to have launched that this year. And hopefully it's the first of much more to come.
Hope so.
All right. Thank you.
What's up, running family? It is y'all guy, Cool Ant. And for the next minute or so, y'all gonna cool it with me. And I am really excited to be joining the TSP family 2025 and kicking things off, or things have kicked off 4 a.m. this morning with the solo runners. They are out there doing their thing. And I just wanna speak on the topic and just say, shout out to the team, man. Because that phrase of no spectators goes so far beyond the runners and what they're doing out there on the course. It's been so much work that's been happening behind the scenes here, and so much just people being intentional about how they show up and how they put things out for you all to see. So please stay tuned. Keep up with the runners, support the runners, support TSP, find ways to support TSP, and just know it's going to be a beautiful ride to 2025.
Thanks, Ant, and thank you all so much for watching. Again, a special shout out to Jen, Nella, and Tom for being out with the solo runners all day today. And again, we have 41 solo mission athletes out on the route this year, far bigger than we've ever had before. And it took the original TSP, the team relay, years and years and years to even get 41 teams involved. So this is an incredible undertaking that so many folks are taking, and we just want to give them a lot of love and appreciate them being out. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. We will be back with episode 2, covering solo mission day 2 very soon. So we'll see you then, and thanks so much for watching.